like building stuff. Beautiful. This is all West Virginia white oak.
Wow! Check out how long that ramp is. Welcome to Tell Me About Your Bike, the podcast about the meaning of life, the universe, and bicycling. In the first of a 2-episode interview, I talked to West Virginia mountain bike trail builder Tracy Toler about building a new North Shore-style wooden feature at Ride an Hour Park in Nitro, West Virginia. In the second episode, I'll be asking Tracy about his favorite bike and what makes a good mountain bike trail. So I drove out I-64 to the park and met up with Tracy's crew as they were loading wood onto an ATV for the drive up to the construction site. Because the trails were still muddy from some record rainfall, I caught a lift up the service road with them instead of riding my bike.
It's not cleared out for you there. We'll take this load up, Josh, and then we'll come back down while they do their thing. You can just jump in the front seat over there.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
man,
you.
I
I
got
appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm 6'4".
Yeah,
If you don't mind me taking the front seat, I sure do appreciate it.
All right, good?
I'm good.
Pretty easy drive. We got just one sketch here to go through. We usually keep it on 2 wheels.
All right, well, that
4
sounds
wheels.
good.
Try to just make the dip up here. Appalachian Power came in and filled these roads in and put their towers in, and they pulled out their bridges and stuff. So we're just waiting on the green light before we can fill this in and fix it. Hopefully that stays on. That green machine's right there to your right.
What is that?
Green machine is right there to your right.
Okay.
We're just going right up the hill from here to me. So what we're building now is we can go into green machine. Green machines have our smaller beginner 3/4 mile loop.
I've never tried it.
Maybe not.
No, I've always been on the other side.
Okay.
I guess where it's more technically challenging.
Yeah,
It's a lot more elevation gauge.
yeah.
Oh, wow! Check out how long that ramp is. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's an amazing feature.
That's brand spanking new. I mean,
Woo!
we're still
Oh
building
man,
that.
I'd be scared to ride that. I don't know if I'm up for that yet. I did some stuff that was lower to the ground in Tidewater, Virginia, and it was and it was. It looks like I'm not sure how much wider it was, but I don't think I have the skill set for the.
we're going to send Caster down. We're going to send John down here in a little bit. So might get with some
What is this? A 27 by 3?
What's that?
These tires? What are they like?
29.
They're 29 by 3?
Hold on. Yeah, 29 by 3.
That is fat. Whose
Yes.
bike is that?
What's that?
Whose bike is that?
That one's mine. Josh was.
I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, he rides the same thing. He's got. What do they call mid fat or 29 plus, I guess, right?
Right.
Got it? We love them.
Yeah, I've got a 29er with. I used to have a 29 by 3 on the front, but
Yeah.
then I upgraded, and the fattest I could get in there was 2.75,
Yeah.
which is still decent enough.
Good size, yeah. There's Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
Man.
I'm Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What you got? Hey, nice card.
Thanks. I just got one of those laser engraver machines, so
Oh yeah.
that was my first little project. Was making business cards.
Cool, man.
Well, as you can see, this is what we're doing right now, which has been super fun. Little North Shore style feature, which we don't see much of in our area, so we figured anything new or different, bring people out.
Yeah, this is amazing. How long is it?
We'll walk and talk if you want. You can come check it out. All in all, right now I think we're at about 100, probably 200 feet now.
Okay.
There'll be about 300 plus when it's all done of like North Shore style feature like this. And then we have a return trail. We're making this into like a loop, so people that like this type of stuff can just do it over and over again. Right. So on the return trail, that'll be more your traditional log skinnies like we see a lot of in West Virginia. So the return will come up like right over in here, so you won't do this first little part. You'll probably come this is the return trail below us. So it'll come up probably about in this wide spot, and then we are actually going to serpentine some much smaller, more advanced skinny style type stuff that'll like turn and go off this main span both directions.
All right.
Yep. So it's coming along. I think it's beautiful. I love building stuff out of wood. So, usually I'm building stuff with dirt, and now we're got a couple weeks of building stuff with wood, which is fun. And it's some beautiful, this is all West Virginia white oak.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So all from like a couple small little sawmill operations, which is pretty cool to support local. And it's beautiful. I mean, look at that stuff.
I know. No, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it's brand new. It looks beautiful.
White oak's really the best thing around here to use in the woods. I mean, we should probably get 20, 25 years out of this.
Sweet.
Yeah. So all pressure treated underneath, and then all white oak rough cut on the top. So I'm not planning on putting any mesh or anything on it because it being rough cut, it's got enough texture.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't start growing mold or anything, you're usually in really good shape. So we picked this like really sunny spot. So like this spot that we're on doesn't really get too much shade at all.
Yeah, it's south facing.
Yeah. It also is nestled real nice between the higher peaks. So sometimes you'll come out here and it'll be seemingly all shady and this spot's still in the sun. So yep, that's about where we're at.
Sweet, dude.
We also decided to build this here because it just is a lot easier access to such a playground area because, I mean, clearly it's not far from the parking lot. So, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be amazing. Yeah, good on you. This is great. I've ridden a little bit of North Shore style stuff from Tidewater, Virginia, but like less than 200 foot, and it was starting to rot into the swamp.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we picked a dry area, and I'm using, the materials that you should. Because, I mean, it doesn't do me any good to build something that's going to last 5 years. I'm not doing a service to anybody.
Right.
So, definitely
Sweet.
get 20 years out of this thing. We can check out the rest if you want.
Yeah.
So we got to still go through and clean up a lot of around just in case people bail in certain areas.
Yeah.
But some things we just chose to build over top because it looks cool and it makes it look more natural,
Yeah. Like this log that's fallen under. And
that old pine. Of course, we went through and sawed off all the things you could fall on.
Right, I can see that now, yeah.
No matter what we do, there's really a lot of thought put into making it safer, even though I think everybody feels like, we build crazy stuff sometimes.
Right.
But it's not really. I mean, this is North Shore. It's not a skinny. I mean, most of this, the skinniest spot up there is still like 9-10 inches, and it's at a very low point.
That's what I was noticing, was that when it got to a skinny point, it was in a descent, and then as it got wider, it went up a little bit higher. So if you do have to bail, you're not going to bail very far.
Yeah. Yep. And that's all thought out. And like here we have like a little drop. But it got skinny before the drop and all that type of stuff. Like, we're always thinking about speed and how to control their speed and how to make the features work. So clearly it got high, which is going to slow most people down a little bit, and then gives you a good vantage point to it getting skinnier and being able to see that drop. And then instead of leaving it a straight drop, we put a 45 in there so that if you're going too slow or you panic at the last minute, it's also still 100% rollable.
Right. Yeah, I don't drop.
Yeah, but this, you could honestly go down the whole thing at super slow speed and just roll that.
Yeah.
And I like building stuff that way. I am one of those builders that really I prefer to build stuff for the more beginner rider, and build stuff that, I mean, clearly we build a lot of stuff that's over a true beginner. Like a lot of times people have a mountain bike, but they haven't ventured outside their neighborhood. So this stuff is probably above their level. But for most people, if you mountain bike trail, then most of the stuff I build should all be within your wheelhouse. Even if we build something a little crazier, it would only be crazy at a higher speed or for a more advanced rider.
Right.
And I try to make them in a sense that, you know, if you're a beginner, you can roll a jump instead of having to jump.
Right.
And so I'll tell you, we actually have a good example. This is kind of
Yeah, let's take a look.
my original idea here, and I think it worked pretty well. So clearly we have a wide spot and we have two things here because we have a drop and then an incline. This drop is pretty big, but you can see it coming from a long ways. Totally a clear landing. You know, this is not for everybody. This is for the people that want to do it. And it's plenty wide enough back there. So what I like to do is, if something is going to be crazy, give people a wide berth before it so they can choose to get off and walk their bike and they have a spot to do that.
Right,
You know what I mean? So this part coming down was my idea of just kind of an illusionary safety gap.
Right.
So first of all, this is the tiniest gap ever. This is like 6 feet.
Right.
You know?
Right.
If you come down that and let your brakes go, you're gonna jump it. This is actually 2 inches lower than the lip.
Right.
But what we did was we spaced these boards out, which on a 29er, you wouldn't even feel,
Right.
you know, anything. And then we spray painted this whole section black so that it really looks like a mandatory gap, even though it totally has a safety net and you could roll through here as slow as you'd ever want to go. So I like building stuff, you know, that serves a wider audience.
Yeah. What's going to be going in here?
So there is a old unused pipeline here. So we can't build any structures across it. So we're dropping off. We're hitting ground for about 50 feet.
Right.
And then we're going to make this whole next section much skinnier and curvier because it leads back into another trail. So when you have trail intersections, you want to kind of put some traps there that mandatory slows people down so people aren't going to be merging together at high speed.
Yeah.
And so that's what this is meant to be. And we're just getting started on this morning. So you can see right up there is a corner of green machine in which this will tie in, and it's going to be skinny and curvy, so you're going to have to do that slow. Ties into green machine there. You go down, get one berm, and then we're going to make it pop out at the next berm, and the return trail is right here below us, and that's where we're going to put log skinnies, and it leads you back up to the top. So you can do this tiny little circuit over and over, which makes about a 850 foot long loop.
Okay.
And you could ride it both directions.
Yeah.
Even that gap, you know, Josh, one of the guys who works for me, is an excellent rider. I mean, he rode right back up there and stuff backwards too, you know, and made it look easy. So.
Wish I could do that.
Josh makes everything look easy.
So thanks for listening to another edition of Tell Me About Your Bike. In the second episode of this interview with Tracy Toler, I'll learn the history of the mountain bike trails at Ridenour Park, what Tracy's favorite bike is, and what makes for a good trail. Please subscribe to Tell Me About Your Bike on your preferred podcasting platform and share the show with a friend. Reviews of Tell Me About Your Bike help us grow the show. You can follow Tell Me About Your Bike on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Keep the rubber side down and keep rolling. Cheers, y'all. Copyright Rambling Ukulele Productions 2025. All rights reserved.